everybody, it's Christine. Welcome back to my channel. I'm here to do my weekly wrap-up. Um, Sorry if I feel and look like crap. I'm feeling the heat, so I usually feel it now. Instead of the day of the heat, I'm feeling it the next day. So it's nice and cool today, so I might be able to get some cool down. So, the first book I finished was Reflected in You by Sylvia Day, and it's book 2 of the Crossfire series. And I have to say, it was like watching a train wreck or a car wreck. It was just Gideon's an a-hole. He actually, there's a phrase in here, or a quote that he actually said, "You will never be equal in this relationship." Like, bye-bye. Yeah, so he's keeping secrets. Like I said, I can't go into it too much, but he's just being an ass. And she's going, "Well, I don't agree with that. I'm going to leave you." He's like, "No, no, no, trust me." And she's like, "Okay." So I had problems with it. Like, the writing is good. It's the characters that are driving you nuts. So it's like, you shouldn't, but you can't help yourself. So I want to read the next one just to see what happens, because there are still like cliffhangers and stuff like that. So I think I gave it a 4 because it was good. It's just characters were driving me nuts. So the next book I finished was The Royal Doctor's Bride by Jessica Matthews. This one is about a prince who is a doctor, and he works in the States, but he's from Maristonia, and she is a countess from Avalon, and they're two warring countries, and her parents had been exiled because her father had chosen to marry her mother instead of conforming to his duties. So she's a doctor as well, and he comes and works, and he becomes her new boss. And that night, or that day, they kind of find out that he's actually the prince, and he needs to marry her to appease the countrymen, both of them, because they're pissed off that the queen had allowed her son to be exiled based on his aunt's lies. So, because she had the hots for her dad. It would have been okay if they got married 2.5 days after they met, and they were already in bed. They already loved each other. No. So I gave it a 3. It was, because they were doing it out of a sense of duty. Yes, I can see it, but when she says, "Well, might as well make it fun." No. So, yeah. But since those are nice, quick, easy reads, I really don't care. The next one, I had a feeling it was going to be way overhyped for me, and it was. I had issues with this book, and it is Room by Emma Donoghue. I gave it a 3. The writing was good. Again, it was the characters, but it was inconsistent. You're told this whole entire book from the perspective of a 5-year-old. So it's not going to be, what are the words? Reliable. What I had issues with is half the time he's speaking in improper sentences with the improper words, and then other times he's talking as if he's an adult, full sentences, these big words, and he's understanding them. Like, no. And then the very odd time his mom would correct him when he's speaking improperly, and instead of correcting the whole entire sentence, she's correcting one word. I'm sorry, but even in these circumstances, and I kept having to tell myself, these are, she's locked in a room with her son. But she needed to inform him better. And it was so inconsistent. And then there's things that happen later on, and she just goes completely changed. Like, yeah, I really had issues with that, because he's like, some of his sentences are Why you do that? Um, why you have, you know, no brain, stuff like that. Um, why he do that me? Or like, and then all other times he's like full on adult speak, and it's just, okay, I'm sorry, but my 5-year-olds, or my kids when they were 5, they could speak in pretty much full sentences. Again, I had to keep telling myself they're trapped in this room. But she allows him to watch TV for small amounts of time, but he thinks that her and him are the only two people in the world. The people on the TV are just pictures. They're not real. Um, and again, I can understand because she didn't want to explain the whole kidnapping thing, but she could have explained it a little bit better. And the fact that she's still breastfeeding it when he's 5 years old. That to me is just a little bit wrong. And taking baths with him, and no, I mean, yeah, great, you're free with yourself, but no, I was really having issues with that. And then while he's breastfeeding, he doesn't talk about it as getting food. He's talking about it as getting some. And where I come from, if you're getting some, you're having sex. So when a 5-year-old saying he's getting some from his mom, it was really cringeworthy. So I gave it a 3 just because of the writing. Like, I flew through it, and I wanted to see what had happened at the end, which not really all that great with the ending either. And yeah, it's just, I had too many issues with it. And I think it's just, yeah, me as a mom, her as a mom, even with that situation, I think things could have been just a little bit different. But that's just my opinion. So the last book I finished was Emergency Single Dad, Mother Needed by Laura Idling. And this is about a man whose sister has just died. So he gets custody of her 5-year-old son. And a former, I wouldn't say flame, his friend marries this girl. And they kind of almost kiss years ago, right before she gets married to him. And he has an inkling that his friend is cheating on her, but he doesn't say anything. He just walks out on the wedding. And yeah, so she comes back to work because she's humiliated at her other job. They're both doctors. He's an ER doctor and she's a infectious disease doctor. And then, things kind of go from there, and secrets come out and all this other stuff. So I liked it. I gave it a 4. But yeah, there's a couple of little twists that yeah, so there's that one. And I had forgotten to mention last week, I think, that I decided to do, itchy nose, the summer romance bingo, that not just a romance. It's Sarah's channel, and if I remember, I'll post her link down below. That she's holding, and it's also a Goodreads group, so I'll post that link as well. If I don't, remind me. So I'm going for blackout. You can do all these different patterns. You could do jail cell bars. You can do layer cake, which is a cross. There's you just have to Google bingo patterns. I go to bingo, so I know. Mind you, I haven't been for a couple of years, but yeah. So I printed off my sheet because I didn't want to have to keep refreshing or trying to get a new one. And I'm going for a full blackout. So this runs from June 1st, I think, until the end of August 31st. So I've already got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 squares done on it. And they are all romance. You have to read romance. So I'll just quickly go through them all. It's a novel that takes place in a small town. Romance novel published in 2018. Excuse me. Book with more than 10,000 reviews, and I think this is 10,000. She changed it to 10,000 ratings. On Goodreads, a subgenre inspirational romance. Novel that takes place in a country you don't live in. subgenre paranormal romance, subgenre historical romance, book that is part of a series, romance featuring a musician, standalone novel, subgenre romantic suspense, novel that takes place in a major city, reader's choice, which is a free square but you still have to read a book for it, book with less than 1,000 reviews, and again, that's 1,000 ratings on Goodreads, romance with a cowboy, book you bought for the cover, romance featuring someone in the medical field, a Harlequin category romance, and that could be like a Harlequin intrigue or a the medical or romantic suspense, love inspired, stuff like that. Romance with a one-word title, that might be difficult. Romance with a cat or dog on the cover. Romance set at the beach. Sports romance. Book by an author writing under a pseudonym. A 2018 Rita finalist. And the last one is subgenre contemporary romance. So I have, 5. I highlighted them and then I wrote the book that I've read for it just to keep track. So, because I can read those little ones quick and they can fit a lot of them, so I figured I'd go for a blackout, which means the whole entire cart is covered. So, currently reading, I'm currently reading Delaney's Desert Chic by Brenda Jackson. I finally got it on ebook. I'm not reading it on my phone, I just took the picture. And it is about a sheik that his father is the emir of Tehran, and that's pretty much king. So he's a prince, and he's in America on business, and his friend has given him the use of his cabin for a month. So he's there for a day, and this woman shows up, which is Delaney. And Delaney's like, well, my cousin said I could have this cabin for a month, so you need to leave. And he's like, well, where I come from, women know when to obey. So already I'm having issues with him because he's, in Tehran, the women don't say a word and they do as they're told. And she's taken offense to that. So anyway, she says that there's 3 bedrooms. They barely will see each other. So she's going to stay there regardless. Like, because her cousin said it. And she just finished, was it law? No, medical practice. Schooling. So she wants a month off to sleep, relax, before she has to go into her 2 years of residency. That's as far as I've gotten so far. And then I've also started Lending a Paw by Laurie Cass, and it's book 1 in the Bookmobile Cat Mystery, and it's cute. This cat follows her home, and she has fought to get this bookmobile happening because a lot of the county libraries where she lives, which is a fictional town in how'd they say it? Southeastern northern Michigan. But it's in the lower peninsula. So I'm like, that doesn't quite make sense. But anyways, so this real estate guy that had originally lived there and had moved down to Florida moves back, and he becomes the benefactor for this bookmobile. So he gives a great big donation to it, the library, so that they can get this bookmobile happening and go to the outlying counties with books. So yeah, that's great. Her very first day driving the bookmobile, because her boss really does not like it, and he's trying to find any way possible to get it shut down before it even opens up. Her last stop of the day, she finds out that nobody's going to be showing up because it's conflict of interest with this other softball team, whatever. So the cat jumps out of the bookmobile because he did a stowaway move and runs across the street and into this bush. And lo and behold, they find a dead body. Well, when she realizes who it is, it's the benefactor. And so she's now quite upset. And that's about as far as I got. She's just gotten back to the parking garage at the library for the bookmobile, and her boss thinks it's hilarious that this guy is dead now. That's as far as I've got. So, what am I going to be reading? I have that one to read and 3 more to finish up my Triple RC challenge for this month. Oh no, sorry. Delaney's Desert Chic and Lending a Paw are the 2. And then these 2 I have to finish for that. And then, so I'll probably be picking up A Courtesan's Guide to Getting Your Man by Celeste Bradley and Susan Donovan. I think it's a contemporary. It almost looks like it's not, but I'm pretty sure it's a contemporary with time travel in it, if I'm not mistaken. And then the other one is Welcome to Harmony by Jodie Thomas, and I'm not sure if it's, stop that. A 16-year-old wants a real home because she's a runaway. So there's that. And so this next book that I have to pick up, because there are other holds on it, I have to read it within the next 3 weeks. And it is the only one that my library has that I could read for the one category of the summer romance bingo, and that was to read a Rita finalist. 2018 Rita finalist. My library had none of the other books. No audio, which I don't do anyways. No ebooks, no physical books. This is the only one. So I am going to be reading Kristen Higgins Now That You Mention It. And I have no idea what it's about. I just know that's the only book that I can get a hold of. So, yeah, I have no idea. So I will get into that probably in the next couple of days and read it in tandem with the other ones. I think that's it. Yeah. So let me know what you guys are reading. And I hope everybody has an awesome day. I will try and do a Friday reads this week. It depends on what's happening. My son went to camp and it was a PD day last Friday. So I had orders to do. I just didn't get a chance to make a video. So we'll see what happens this week. Yeah. So hope everybody has an awesome week and I'll talk to you later. Bye.